Hello, everyone. Welcome to the weekly collective reading. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. It's good to see all of you. Each and every week, we show up on Sundays to map out what the week ahead looks like. We have a really cool special topic that everyone voted on today, which is to fix any of the cracks in your energetic foundation. So this could be anywhere that you might be needing a little bit of support. We'll look at all the different areas when we go into the Celtic Cross and help you overcome those blocks. So great choice today, especially as we're entering into a Mercury retrograde. This will help you not repeat old patterns. So well chosen, community. I appreciate you. All right, we're going to get started with channeled messages. And basically, this is when I connect directly with Spirit. I took some notes from my dreams this morning because they were kind of interesting here. So I like to talk about them. One thing that I picked up on was the importance of integrity in communication, and basically, Spirit was very clear with me on this. The guides basically said if there's something that you need to say, constructive criticism in particular, better to go directly to the person that you're having an issue with. Because what I was shown was a situation where words were said, and the person heard you saying something about them. So in other words, don't talk behind people's back. If you need to address something with someone, the integrity and the sort of straightforward energy of just saying it face to face is so important. In fact, sorry, let me just mute the volume on this. In fact, if you look at today's daily card reading, it was the Two of Cups. It's a perfect day to have a heart-to-heart. That's something that that card connects with. As we look at the 7-day spread here in just a moment, I'll also look for other opportunities to have a difficult conversation, resolve conflict, and clear the air. That's basically what I saw with that. Let me see here. The other thing was an emotional outburst. So a lot of stuff around communication, again, with Mercury retrograde, this all makes sense. Kind of like Nine of Cups energy, but reversed, or Ten of Swords energy when you kind of let it get under your skin. If you're very, very passionate about something, in one way or another, like really excited or really upset, I think the encouragement here is to just let the dust settle a little bit, hold whatever it is that you want to send or say for a day or two until you're sure that you still consistently feel that way. So this could also be like before making a major move or decision, make sure that the general emotions don't cloud your vision. It's kind of interesting that the past few weeks, we're kind of in a foggy zone right now in LA. So when the fog is there, it obscures things, it distorts things, it hides things. Emotions can be the same as the fog that's right behind me. So we want to just let the fog lift a little bit and give yourself time to recalibrate and make sure that that is indeed what you want to do. All right. So those were the messages for today. Why don't we get straight into the 7-day forecast, where we're going to look at what the highs, lows, and everything in between is going to look like for the week ahead. All right, let me see which deck I would like to use for this. Okay, we'll do something a little bit different. All right, so let's get started. Before we do any sort of energetic work, I always like to make sure that we're tuned in. So just take a moment, please. Close your eyes. Really breathe deeply. Let everything go, whatever it is that you're currently worried about, thinking about, and breathe a couple more times until you really feel like you're clear. And then imagine that there's a circle of light around your body. We'll invite in your angels, spirit guides, and ascended masters, as well as mine, and your higher self, because you always have the wisdom to figure things out, but sometimes just may not be tuning in. All right, so let's see what the cards have to say here. Okay, we have two. We're going to do it that way. All right, let's get started here in this spread. We're going to begin with the energy for today. Pretty good, I must say. The Emperor is coming through. It is about taking the sort of like the wheel and driving. Accountability, leadership, and also just, not just the accountability, but like I'm also seeing ownership over something too. This is a great day to set things into motion. You can work with others like we saw with the daily read that I had pulled earlier. And the other thing with this is not to underestimate your power, your ideas, your influence on the world around you. Sometimes we feel like it's small, but it's not. And it's when we're looking at the foundation, which is like the special topic this week, everything you do this week to build that firmer foundation is just going to help you incrementally as you start to build upon it. So roll up your sleeves and get some work done today. You can really make a great start, a great foundational effort today, okay? So I like what we see for today. It's a good start. All right, let's look at the beginning of the work week here on Monday. Also equally good, and a perfect pair, a divine pair with the Emperor card. So her equivalent in the major arcana would be the Empress, but she is the boss card of the minor arcana. There's no doubt about that. She's great at organization. She's great at imagining new things and innovating things that, like if there's a block, this is the Queen card that you want to work with you. So how do you translate that to your Monday? Definitely take a look at your goals for this week ahead and maybe even the rest of this year. We only have 1.5 months. So whatever you need or want to do, she's coming through and saying, let's put it into a schedule. Let's set some goals. Let's set some plans. If you're blocked, she's saying, how else can we fix this? She gets curious. She gets inquisitive. And when somebody asks her, like, you know, are you ready for this or whatever, she speaks with confidence. Normally she holds a sunflower. And this one, if we look really close, she's holding a clover, which is also equally as spiritual. It represents luck, the Trinity, being connected to, you know, sort of like all of your higher self, lower self, and being able to manifest all of this too. So I like it. Good day for business, good day for getting things into motion. So far, today and tomorrow looking very, very good. Let's see what's coming through on Tuesday. This is when the fog comes in. So 7 of Cups. This is a very unusual illustration for it, but I'll pull a traditional one in a second. What this is representing is getting distracted by shiny things, by like what people think, what you might be gaining from a situation, but only what you're gaining. The material aspect of things, which we normally wouldn't see with the 7 of Cups. The other thing that 7 of Cups represents is all of the possibilities. What about this? What about that? And so on Tuesday, it's good to ask questions. It's good to explore. But one thing that you want to avoid is sort of like having too many options. So you can throw out the ones that are the most like ridiculous or outrageous and really focus on what's possible and where you can make an impact and let the other stuff sort of just go by the wayside. Also, not getting distracted by what other people are thinking about you, because this is just, like I said behind me, it's your head's in the clouds a little bit on Tuesday. So ask questions, focus, really ask yourself, does this matter? Is this moving the needle forward, or is it just white noise? If it's white noise, set it to the side. Sorting needs to be done with the 7 of Cups. There are too many things. There's a little bit of lack of organization and clarity. So you have to say, okay, I'll deal with that later. This is a hard pass. This is a maybe. This is the thing that I feel best about. Like that kind of energy. And if you can't do it on your own, work with someone else that can help you sort through all of that. But avoid sort of like getting too fixated on, shiny things or the money or the success. Like some of these things might take you out of what you should be doing. So that's the only thing that I see with that one is confusion or this tendency to go towards what might be most popular or whatever. All right, middle of the week looking very, very good. Great day for communication. Page of Wands coming through. Basically even embodying a little bit of the magician here, as above, so below. But the Page of Wands demonstrates in his communication where the Page of Swords is going to like orate and say it with words. He's going to show it with actions and with images and with nonverbal communication. So you need to, in addition to just using words, but embody what it is. Believe it, breathe it, show it. And if you do that, you can access that wonderful power that we see here, which is almost like the magician energy. And a lot of times people just need to see something tangible. So demonstrating, prototyping, showing, and then also like, again, walk the walk and talk the talk. You have to be able to embody it. Otherwise, they're just empty words, and people can usually pick up on that. Okay? All right, moving towards the latter part of the week. On Thursday, we have 2 cards coming through, so let's break it down. And actually, we're going to give Apollo a little snack in the background just to say hello. Hey, buddy. Yeah, we haven't forgotten about you. All right. We'll let Apollo do his thing, and we'll get back to the energy here of Thursday. So for Thursday, you have two cards. The presenting energy is the Four of Cups. Four of Cups can be a blessing in disguise. Usually it's floating to the side and it looks like an ace. In this one, they're actually embracing it and saying, that wasn't what I thought, but maybe it's what I need, or maybe this is something better than I expected. So looking at an opportunity or an option that wasn't necessarily on your bingo card, but it might be perfect for you in this moment in time. Right underneath it, we have the Seven of Wands. Stress management is important as we look at all of these little, I don't know what they are because it's a different illustration here, but this is kind of the pressure that we feel in the world. And sometimes the Seven of Wands can show that you are on the defensive. So it's about being graceful, even when there's a lot on your plate. What happens with the Seven of Wands is you typically have just done something very successful, or people look at you and they think, oh, you can handle this. And you may be able to handle it, but there's a general encouragement to not take on more than you need to. And I know it's easier said than done, but delegate, work smarter, and say no as necessary. I'm going to see if I can find the traditional one here, but trust me, it's usually someone that just needs to push back a little bit. So I found it. So with the traditional card, typically people will keep pushing things on your plate in your direction until you say no. So saying no, working smarter, really important. Try not to overcommit. Try not to push yourself to the point of exhaustion, because that can also lead to things like getting sick, getting stressed, having one of those sort of emotional moments that we talked about. And that's why the supporting card on this one was the Four of Cups. So go inward and meditate when this feeling of stress that we saw in this version comes forth. And that is going to help you move forward with grace, okay? So definitely on Thursday, you need to slow down a little bit and don't immediately communicate, speak, or act on the first thing that you're feeling or seeing. This will help you because on Friday, we had the devil come through, and the devil usually is a warning. It is in tarot not something to be feared. It's typically here to help us not make a mistake. So strings attached. We can see the chains connecting these two people, holding them to something. So sometimes people in our life try to force us to do something that we don't want to do, or they hold something over us. And in this situation, it's a wake-up call that this person, place, or environment isn't ideal. There also could just be someone in your life that can't give you what they want because they're attached to something else, or it's not on their timeline. So if someone shows their true colors, see those true colors. If someone can't give you something, understand that they're setting a boundary. And if you're feeling trapped, now is the time to start to look for new ways to get out of the situation. You usually can't change the whole devil card in a day, but it's a wake-up call. This isn't a sustainable path. This isn't the right place. Kind of like a big caution sign. If there are any contracts, I would avoid signing them on Friday. I would get some more information, get a second set of eyes on them just to make sure that you're not missing something. It can also just be a temptation. As you know, in the one of my favorite cards is in the Lightseers deck, where it's actually an attractive devil. So sometimes we're lured into doing something even though we know on some level this isn't going to pay off in the long run. And this can also be the conversation that I saw. And you may not even be the one that is initiating it. Someone might be talking to you about someone, and then that implicates you in the situation. So whether you are the receiver of gossip or the gossiper, don't do it. That's the general thing. And even just cut it off. Say, I really think you need to go to talk to them, or I don't want to be a part of this conversation. So pull back or find a way to deal with it directly. All of those things can help you avoid this. And I think you can avoid it, especially even the day prior. Like I said, meditate, push back, try not to let stress get the better of you. These things will pay off in the long run and definitely can be some cracks in the foundation, right? All right, so let's take a look at the weekend. As we go to this upcoming Saturday, we have the Empress card coming through. This is the third boss card because we have the Emperor, Queen of Wands, now we have Empress. Birthing, creation, nurturing, all of those are comprised within this. Take care of yourself. If you need to help someone else, great day to do that. If you want to set something into motion, birthing, creating, or announcing, perfect day for that. And also people may come to you for support because she is one of the more supportive cards. So pretty much an amazing day, but because she is more receptive, make sure your boundaries are up, particularly since the devil preceded this. And as long as you do that, I think you'll be in a great position. All right. 1 week from today, we have a fantastic card, Six of Cups. So next Sunday, we have partnership, friendship, love, community. Also, this sort of inner child coming out and wanting to have some fun. And this is a great day for group gatherings. It's a great day for face-to-face conversations. Think of it as a lot of what I talked about in the Two of Cups, but elevated. And typically, this is someone that you already know. So if there's an old friend, sibling, family member that it's been a while since you've talked to them, this usually represents a childhood connection. So this is a good day to pick up the phone, send an email or a text, and just say, hey, I'm thinking about you. How are you doing? But if you wanted to have a first date, an important meeting, face-to-face conversation, Sunday would be a fantastic day to do that, okay? So let's go ahead and look at any of the highlights and challenges for this week ahead, and then we'll move into the elemental breakdown. So you got a lot of highlights, actually. I think that today is fantastic, as is Monday, and these are great days for charting everything out and planning and setting things into motion. Likewise, next Sunday. These are your power days because they are the most powerful cards. I think every other day is manageable. Your biggest challenge is Friday, but it might sort of rear its head on Thursday. So take care of yourself during the end of the week. Make sure that major decisions are done before that because you have only positive cards for the most part. Get your clarity on Tuesday. That's the only sort of like in-between day. And then have some fun a week from today. Pretty much a good week with just one kind of like cautionary note, okay? If you just joined, perfect timing. We're going to be looking at the elements here in just a second. Like and subscribe if you haven't already done that. Thank you for everyone that has. You can give back with PayPal if you'd like to. This is my PayPal link. It's also in my main bio page. You can join me on social for future reminders, and you can give back with super stickers, super chat, and membership. Everything here is all fan supported, so thank you in advance. All right, let's go on to the elements. We're going to break this down into fire, earth, air, and water. This is the only part of this reading that is going to be a little bit more sign specific. So let's use this deck, and I'm going to use another one for the special topic. Okay. Yeah, lucky 555, very magical. Thank you to everybody that joined. All right. Fire, earth, air, water. All right. Let's see what's coming through for all of you. Fire signs. Interesting. So putting something to rest, moving on, we have the Four of Swords here. It might be a little bit difficult to release something, but if you look in the background, it's very cool to see that sword that's kind of showing its head, and that is the benefit of the Four of Swords. When you give yourself a proper chance to rest, to recalibrate, and to connect, some amazing things can happen. So slow the pace down a little bit this week. If there's something that you've been dealing with, trying to get through, this also shows the day where that breakthrough starts to happen, or the week when that starts to happen. If you're in a period of your life where there's not a lot happening, enjoy the lull, because as we look at this week, it feels like you're just getting set up to do a little bit more in the long run. And so initially, the universe is just slowing some things down. So if you're working too fast, take a break. If you're in a lull, don't panic. Those are the two big takeaways there. This is also like one of the final stages of grieving. So Six of Swords is the kind of like ultimate one where you're moving on. But like the Death card is the immediate sort of sensation of what's happening. Four of Swords, you're putting it to rest. Six of Swords, you're moving on. Judgment, you're already in the next category. So I see some of you just getting ready to move on. Give yourself time. Healing is possible, but rest is your magic elixir this week. Make sure that you're meditating, sleeping, and paying attention to things. So one other thing with the Four of Swords, don't force someone to reply if they are, because no communication is a form of communication. So if you are repeatedly having to nag someone to show up, to do something, etc., they just may not be interested. Four of Swords can also just be a gently closed door. See where the doors are open, because as we see in the background, there is something that is going to be open, receptive, and where you're going to feel like, oh, this was worth the wait. Okay? Good week overall for fire signs, but pace yourself. Even if you don't normally want to pace yourself, pace yourself. Moving on to the earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Stress management, we have the 9 of Swords. I like that the swords are kind of imaginary in this, and that the person just needs to take care of themselves. So 2 cards that represent sleep, because this is a sepulcher, which represents a lot of rest. This one is just the bed, but some of you may be having a hard time getting to sleep, maybe even waking up. And so you want to look a little bit at how you are managing your stress, your time, your schedule, your diet also, because when you eat and how late you exercise can also affect your ability to sleep. There could be external factors going on, creating stress in your life. And if there is, this is a time to disconnect, sort of detach yourself from that, and know that of all of the stress or shadow cards, this one is typically better than it seems. So that's why you normally see the swords as being part of the mind or imagination, or how much weight you're giving to someone or something. So you're going to pull it down a few notches. And what I usually do when I'm in a 9 of Swords moment is say, can I get an external point of view? Is this really as big as it seems? What if I can find an alternate outcome for this? So speaking from experience too, like I just got through a really difficult health situation. Finally, my ears 100% opened up, but I had to go on 2 rounds of steroids, 2 rounds of antibiotics. That's why the monthlies were delayed this month. I'm working on them. They should get out this week. But I had to just rest. There comes a point where if you don't rest, you'll go into a tower moment, right? So take a lead from me. Sometimes you just have to stop. I don't get vacation. I still show for the dailies, but I'm like, I have to slow down for a couple weeks because I won't be able to sustain. So take care of yourself before this becomes 10 of Swords, because that can also just be you creating more. Sometimes you just have to rest and relax. So a very common theme here for the first 2 elements, fire and earth. Earth, you can't push it as much this week. You're just going to have to take care of yourself. And it's not always fun, and you might worry, but you have to set a good example for yourself and others, so please do that. And if you need to talk to someone, please do that. And remember what I'm saying here, that it isn't as intense as it feels in the moment. That isn't a sort of like, it isn't belittling the stress that you feel, but a day or 2 can make a lot of difference. And for me, like a month later, I'm okay. But I actually had lost hearing in one of my ears. So I went through that 9 of Swords where I was like, oh my God, is it gone? And then I just thought, well, why don't we just get a lot of opinions? Why don't we take our time? Why don't we just breathe? Why don't we work with natural healing energy? There are lots of ways to attack an issue. Look at it from all the angles. Because right now, you're still in the fog a little bit, and we need to pull you up from the fog on that. There could be someone around you that's in the stress energy, and you just don't want to let them pull you into it. If you're feeling good this week, look at the environments around you and de-escalate and detach as necessary, okay? It is better than you think. The outcome can be better. You have to just breathe this week. All right, moving on to air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Good time for you here. We have 2 of Cups, and I talked about it this morning. This is, again, your chance to make connections in your life. For those of you that are trying to job seek or open a door, this is auspicious, just like the Lover's card is. If you want to deepen an existing friendship or relationship, make time, grab coffee. Literally, it could just be coffee or a drink. Also, something that I don't always talk about, but I did in today's daily. This is just telling someone how much they matter to you, like, thank you so much, or I love you, or I appreciate you. A compliment, a well-deserved one. And making time to have some fun and spend with the people that you care about the most. If you're looking for love, it's a great week to do just that. And 2 of Cups is not a hermiting energy. You're going to benefit by mixing, mingling, exploring, and having these connections in your life. So the focus is on people. Of course, the relationship with yourself is first and foremost, so love and appreciate yourself. But once you get there, I feel like you'll benefit by connecting with others as well. Okay? Great week for all of the air signs. Enjoy. All right, moving on to water. Also very good. Great card for relationships also. It's interesting how it was like the signs 2 and 2, they're both very interrelated here. So Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, you have the Four of Wands. This is super foundational and really connected to our special topic. So there are times when we meet people and you just know that you can go the distance with them. And this particular Four of Wands is showing that. You could look at those as hands or roots. But whatever you really connect and put energy into this week, you can see this sort of long-term growth. You may meet someone, a new friend, a new colleague, a love interest, where you know it can go the distance, or you might just be building, setting the stage. I talk about this with the Four of Wands. The people are in the distance and they're not fully materialized. Kind of looks like Star Trek, where they're beaming in. So you can look at the Four of Wands as that. I need to get everything set up so people can beam in and join me in this energy. So keep setting the stage in your life and know that it's not too far away, folks. Might be a week, it might be a couple weeks, but we see some positivity and new energy coming forth. And this is really good for contracts, for setting things into motion, and for attracting whatever it is that you might be trying to manifest. Really, really great energy overall. So hopefully that helps. 2 common themes: rest, and then focus on people and partnerships in your life. Everybody can benefit from those 2 things, but it's interesting that it got repeated for kind of like 6 signs had similar messages. All right, now let's take a look at the special topic for this week. So you chose fixing the cracks in the foundation of your life, the energetic foundation. I had to shorten it because I was like, that was a wordy title. But the cracks could be anywhere. So we're going to do a traditional, this week we'll go traditional in the spread and just see what's showing up, what we need to do with that, etc. I really like the deck that I was just working with, even though we just worked with it. I feel like it's the choice for today. I've been using it a lot, but it's a fun deck to work with. So let's just stick with it. If you just joined, take a moment to close your eyes, tune in, welcome in your guides, and set the intention here to receive messages for your highest self, for your highest good. Good. Yeah, what I like about this deck is it's just close enough to Rider-Waite-Smith that it's an easy read, but it's just different enough that it presents alternate interpretations. So I'll be using it a lot, just until I get tired of it, but I like it. I'll make sure to put a link. I always tag the decks that I use, but I'll tag it after I go live. Let's go. Oh, we need the catalyst. Now we can begin. All right, so in your catalyst position, Joan of Arc, voice of truth. Stand strong, focus on your purpose, release the fear of persecution, and speak your truth. I also think this has to do with being direct, because a lot of times you'll see her with a sword too. So she reminds me a lot of the Queen of Swords. If I had to kind of like connect her to something in the minor arcana, it would be the Queen of Swords. And she trusted in herself even when other people didn't. And that's part of this, and being able to sort of stand up for what you believe, whatever the naysayers may say. History will show that you're probably on the right side of things, so trust in yourself. And truth and integrity. I think these are the 2 things you really want to lead with this week. And it's interesting because at the center of the spread, we have the Strength card in reverse. No, it's actually in the upright position. So perfect. It just looked like that because of the way that this is illustrated. So you have the capacity to make it work, even if you're dealing with someone challenging or something challenging. So lean into your strengths. One of them this week is just straightforward communication. It isn't how much you say or what words you use, it's how clearly you communicate. And this card is reminding you of that. So less is more. And also the delivery matters. So I have friends who are actors, and I've listened to them run lines before. And it's interesting, there's like 10 different ways to say the same phrase. You just have to but there's usually the one that like lands it. And it's kind of the same, something that we can all relate to is trying to say no to somebody. So I'll give you like 3 examples. One is like, well, I don't know, I've got a lot to do. But you're allowing yourself to be now pulled in. They're like, no, come on, you're going to have a good time. You're like, okay. Okay, so that was a very poorly executed no. There's another one where it's like, I've got a lot going on. I'll get back to you. I'm not sure I can make it. That's a little wishy-washy because you're leaving the door open. There's another one that just says, thanks for the invitation. No, I've got a lot on my plate. Why don't we try something next week if you want to? That one, you've said no. You left the door open in the future to me, but not today. I can't do it today. There's no question with that. And there can just be no, I'm not interested. For some people, they need that clear. So pick your path. And when you're communicating, know that the delivery matters. If you're using words that are a little wishy-washy, if you're not sort of like saying it with confidence, people pick up on that, and then the peer pressure sets in. So you want to speak with strength and confidence. The interesting thing with this is that it's interesting. If it was reversed, you can see it a little easier. It's a lot. The strength card is a lot to manage. So when you're looking at a situation in your life, person in particular, maybe a boss, if you're managing up and having to carry that load, you get tired after a certain amount of time. She still has her hand in the mouth of this person, trying to get someone to follow through on their commitments, meet you halfway, do what they're supposed to do, but they don't do it unless you nag them or push them. It's more of a wake-up call that's not sustainable in the long run. Looking at this from the lens of foundations, strength is your body. Make sure that your health is there. That's something that I had to do, and I don't like to be late on stuff, but I'm like, I gotta take care of myself. Take care of yourself. If you need to take a day off, if you have to say no to something, if your health isn't there, nothing, it's a house of cards. Your physical well-being and emotional well-being basically take center stage. That's why it was the first card that we looked at. All right, let me take a drink, and then we're going to talk about what's crossing it. Okay, crossing this, we have Temperance. It is an angelic card, although not illustrated as such here. It is a balancing act, and that is also what this particular version of it is showing. You may have a lot, but you can manage it with grace and integrity. And if you also let the universe know, I can handle this and I can handle more, then more will come through when it comes to abundance. What you want to make sure that you're doing, though, is finding the fulfillment and the balance that you need in your life. So we're still looking at foundational energies here. Don't rush into anything. I'm going to show you the traditional card because I think it has a little bit more to offer than this one, but I like that the balancing piece was front and center in this one. So while I'm finding it, Temperance is telling you to slow down, tune in, meditate, and really not to rush, because good things come to those who are patient. That's the hardest piece, is just being patient with yourself, patient with the universe, patient with others, because we are in a society and a moment with like social media that we just want everything to happen immediately. And Temperance is reminding you, you know what? If you just wait a half second, if you just tune in and listen to your higher consciousness, you're probably going to save a lot of time in the long run, and you'll be able to do it in a more graceful way. So for whatever reason, this card is hiding, so just trust me on that. The Temperance Angel usually is standing right before this sort of like path behind it, and it's saying slow, steady, calculated. And then the balance piece is the other part of this. I also like to remind folks, because this is one of the angelic cards, that with spiritual development, it kind of takes patience. Your first time meditating, unless you're super lucky. Usually you're just going to be quieting your mind and paying attention to your body, or maybe falling asleep. By the way, these are normal things. The more you meditate, the more you clear this out. So first time you do it, all you're doing is thinking about everything. Second or third time, you might be out of your head, but now you're paying attention to your body. Fourth or fifth time, maybe you're paying attention to what's going on. Sooner or later, it's gone, and now you can go further. So meditation takes practice. And after a few years or a few decades, you can go so deep, it's crazy. So don't give up. Be patient. Be persistent. And then the path reveals itself. And that's really what temperance is about. So just wanted to kind of throw that in there. For those of you that might be a little bit disappointed or frustrated with what you're achieving in anything, whether it's meditation or something that you're trying to work through in your life, good things come to those who are persistent and wait and continually show up, okay? Let's look at what's going on in the deep past here. We have the Ten of Cups, and this is all about connections in your life. One common theme as we've been looking at this past week has just been people. People matter. And so family, friends, chosen family and friends, and even if they're not here yet, which is one thing that I kind of like that they're doing with this deck, that doesn't mean that they won't be here soon. So setting the stage, like the Four of Wands that I was showing earlier, means I'm going to do the work on myself. I'm going to clear my actual physical space, make room for things. I'm going to make sure that how I'm spending my time and energy in different activities makes sense, that you're not sort of like blocking things in any way, shape, or form. If you've connected with someone, if you've started a new relationship, this portends good things because we had the Strength card, which shows a strong connection, Temperance, which also shows a deep spiritual connection, and now the Ten of Cups. This looks foundationally strong for many of you. So keep building, keep working, keep connecting. And if you're looking for your chosen family or friends, this is saying now is the time to focus on that. Because the people that you love and trust the most, they're there for you when things are great and not so great. So part of the foundation in your life is people. And if you didn't like the group that you came into, you can choose new people as you get older. So the older I get, the more I realize this is chosen family. Particularly because loved ones come and go. I'm at a point in my life where most of the older relatives are gone. It's just cousins and a couple of aunts. And so at that point, it's like I have to choose some family around me in the form of friends. And they matter just as much, if not more, because when I think of the friends in my life, I can pick up the phone at any time and call some of them. I wouldn't necessarily do it with all family members, but I know I could. But you feel that sense of imposition and you may not know them. So keep building your network. It gets harder as you get older because when you're not plugged into work or school, or if you work on your own like I do, you have to make a concerted effort to connect. Do that. It's good for your mental, emotional, and just actual physical health. Make time for relationships. And it doesn't have to just be love. These are friends and community. So whether it's a faith-based group or activism or neighbors or former coworkers and friends, reconnect, make those connections, okay? As we look at the recent past, it looks like some things are starting to take shape and form, but the impatience that we were talking about with Temperance could be setting in. And the Three of Wands reminds you to look in all directions. In the traditional card, he's on top of a hill looking at the ships coming in. In this one, we can see that there's a couple of things behind him. One of the wands is growing behind him, but he might not be paying attention to it. So something could be done faster, more effectively. And yes, someone mentioned dogs are chosen family. Yes, sorry, Apollo as well. But anyway, things can be done faster, more effectively if you look in all directions and dimensions. Like, oh, what about this? What if it hasn't even happened and I could try that? So make sure that you're thinking expansively and that you're not just kind of like with blinders, horse blinders, looking at one potential place where it could show up. It could happen here. It could happen there. It could happen here because it's something that is even manifested. But this is typically a sign of speed and something that's already available. So it's just a matter of looking in the right direction and things are going to take shape and take form pretty quickly. We got two cards in the crowning position. The way I read this also represents what's going on in your head. So let's see what's going on in your head. Some of you are exhausted. I love the Ace of Wands. It is ideation, vitality, inspiration, intuition, but it can also, when reversed, be, where do I get started, right? And I wish I had the energy. So I'd love for you to look at this from a holistic point of view. If you are feeling a lack of vitality, energy, or inspiration, then what you want to do is first go to the health part of it. Am I resting enough? I actually went to bed early last night. Rather than working through and doing, I was like, let's go to bed early. We have some important things to do tomorrow. I got to take care of myself. So rest. Are you putting the proper fuel in your body? As much as you may like an energy drink, some sugar, a sweet, those are fast highs and deep crashes. So work on something where you're putting in premium fuel, organic fruit, clean proteins, the proper mix of carbohydrates and everything, using sugar very sparingly. This is going to help you have more energy. And cutting back on caffeine can help too, because it is an elastic thing. And if you're the type of person that can have like a caffeinated beverage and then take a nap, that's a sign that you need more sleep and you probably need to pull back on the caffeine. That'll help you. Also, you may be getting into your headspace too much. So again, with my favorite math meme, sometimes we have an idea and we want it to be perfect and we worry about all these other things. And it's really like, why don't we just put the energy into the idea and not worry so much about all of that? Get it on paper, work with someone else who can get you out of the perfectionist mode. All of that will help. So the only crack in the foundation there is possibly like how you're caring for your body with the strength, energy coming through again, or that you're overthinking. You've got a great idea. What are you doing to set it into motion? All right, let's see what's underneath it. A great card. Something's closer to being finished than you think. So we have 9 of Wands here. The 9 of Wands doesn't give up. Typically, this card has a bandage around the forehead. So what goes on with 9 of Wands energy is, this is where I think it could even be a little bit of like trauma from the past, like PTSD or stress over something that didn't work out before. And you're thinking back to that, but you're going to be okay. This is a different time and space. So you've survived it before. This time you can actually thrive, not just survive. But you have to finish what you've started. So the universe is very much encouraging you in this moment to finish what you've started. Take a little break if you need to. Take a nap, but then come back. And don't let the fear, the overthinking, the past experience take the wind out of your sails, because this can go the distance. And what do we have if we put these together? Completion. 10 of Wands, moving on. So you actually have everything that you need here if you just allow it to kind of flow and go in the right direction, okay? I love that they keep using scarabs with this too. So scarabs is also a new way. I look at that and it's like death and rebirth. It's a new way to do something. So change up your routine a little bit. That can also increase your vitality. In a relationship, this is a wake-up call. So it can show that the spark isn't mutual, or that the spark has fizzled. So if it's fizzled and it was there and it can be rekindled, rekindle it. But if it's your first meeting and you're like, whether it's a job and it looks good on paper, but you're not connecting when you go there for the interview, or it's a first date and you think, oh, I should like this person, but I don't feel it. Trust in that. It's not going to improve over time. You usually know, especially if it's like, why don't I feel something? Maybe you just don't have the spark, and that's okay. Because energy, it's frequency. So again, in pop music, I always get a kick out of it when people actually talk about energy. So Demi Lovato has a new album out, and she's talking about someone that can meet her frequency. Exactly. Don't lower your frequency. Don't try to fake the frequency. You're either in alignment and you feel the connection, the electricity, or you're not. So wait until someone meets and or even exceeds your frequency. It's like, wow, this is more than I thought. Don't compromise. The Ace of Wands can be a compromise because you think you should feel it, because your parents are pushing you into something, or your friends. Oh, this person's great for you. This job is great for you. This situation. But you're like, I don't feel it. You don't feel it. It's a truth. Embrace it. Don't convince yourself to do something that you don't want to do. it's typically peer pressure or the desire to make people happy that will lead you to compromise. Don't. Okay, speaking of integrity, I like the way they did this one too. It's just fun to read with a different deck. So 7 of Swords. It's a snake pit. So it's reversed. We like that it's reversed. This is the little temptation voice in the head that will sometimes come through and say, I really shouldn't do this, but no one's going to notice. They're going to notice. It's like that TikTok sound where it's like, no one's going to notice. They're going to notice. So yes, listen to the integrity piece, which is, I really shouldn't do this. That's it. That's the full stop. There's no comma. There's no but. It's, you really shouldn't do this. And this is the gossip piece, or this is breaking a contract or a promise. And it doesn't always have to be a signed contract. It can just be like saying, I'll do this for you, whatever it is, whether it's be it an important event or pick up the laundry. It doesn't matter, or the dry cleaning rather. Like if you said you were going to do it, do it. Stick with your promises. And as you start to make new commitments, let's say you broke a couple, you're going to make better choices moving forward. I wish I could, but I can't. Sorry, I can't help you with this. I'm overextended. If you can help me with this, then I can take that on, but not right now. So be clear and honest, and this goes back to the delivery of it. And it's not about not wanting to do it. It's about like how much bandwidth and time you have. So be honest. That's really the 7 of Swords. It's not always someone stealing. It's not always someone lying or cheating. It can be. But typically, it's just about integrity in communication. Of course, if there is someone that's trying to get away with something, call it out, stop it, hit the brakes. Because this can be someone that is testing to see, are you paying attention? And that's when you say, wait a second, this isn't what we talked about. Why are you doing this? And also clarify, just say, was I unclear? And if not, then why are you doing this? Okay? So this does require a little bit of boldness, a little bit of strength, a little bit of Queen of Swords, Joan of Arc energy, but always get back to what was discussed. Data-driven sort of like communication on this. Say, wait a second, this is what we signed on. Let's make sure we get that done, right? So you can also push in that direction where you're like, I'm sure you realize that this isn't what we were talking about. If you want to kind of gently nudge into it, but sometimes you have to be direct. Say, this is not correct. This is not what we asked for. Okay? The Hermit, very good. This is where you're at right now. So some of you have decided to lean into research, maybe getting education, maybe spiritual development. I applaud and support all of those things. Some of you also just need a time out from people, and you just want to go into that hermit shell like we see there. That's kind of funny that it's almost like a human hermit crab. Maybe you need a break. We did get a lot of rest cards, 4 of Swords, and what was the other one? I forgot. But it's time to take a break. Don't push yourself to exhaustion. Whatever you are working on, whatever you're cooking up, this could really be something amazing in the long run, in the long term. So I like that you're working hard, that you're going inward, that you're thinking. Never underestimate your experience. Never underestimate your potential. Keep working on yourself. I really have no other comments. It's a good card to show up for you. And there's times and places where you need to hermit a little bit. So people are needed, but make sure that you're also getting recharging time. So for those of you that work in a big group of people, or you have a big family, or your schedule's busy because we're entering into holiday season where there's a lot going on, okay, but make sure that there's a couple days in the week where you can just be the hermit crab, right? And you can just go in and say, I'm going to pull up the covers, I'm going to listen to some music or watch a holiday show or something, and just, there's new words for that, like just rot. I don't like that. Just sort of like chill. Just chill and be to yourself, whether it's reading, meditating, watching TV. Just take it easy. And you don't have to do anything. Stillness is not laziness. That's something that I'm trying to impart. Creating stillness in your life is a good thing from time to time, because, lo and behold, in the environment, things are just about to expand and get tricky and not tricky, but like you're going to need your foundation to be firm. So we have the World card. And one thing that I like about this is, sorry, I have to cover things up. It's just because YouTube is tricky. So I cover up anything that could be objectionable, but we can still see most of the picture. So we see a lot of different people that are kind of like, it's like you're on the backs of everyone else that has come before you. There's ancestral energy. There's also like just making sure that you take a moment to be grateful for the people that open doors for you. There's probably a dozen people that have been through similar situations that had to create this for you, this moment for you. So take a moment to say thanks. Gratitude is so good in the foundation of your life. Thank you to your mom, to your ancestors, to the people in the world that have carried the torch and sometimes have been persecuted because of speaking the truth, doing the right thing. They opened the door for you. Don't hesitate in being able to step into this now, because all of this aligns to this moment in time. The World card in the reverse position represents a speed and immediacy that was unexpected. And I kind of gave you the warning of that with this. This is a now card. If you had asked me a question, when can this happen? I'm like, it's already happening. You just have to look around. You just have to try something different. So it's now. Something's ready to be revealed, initiated, shown to you now. Are you ready? There's an overdue move on your part. It could be a figurative move, like I'm going to take this step in this direction. It could be a literal move, like I need to move from this geographical location to that. It could be a move in your sort of like spiritual development, your career development, but it's already set. The stage is set. So this is a card that needs to be grounded, though. So it's acceptance. That's really what I'm getting, because the card before it is judgment, and judgment is about rising up, answering the call, and accepting. The world is just about release. So work a little bit on the acceptance, like, I need to do this. It's the time. I'm ready. I'm deserving. And then step through the world and know that there have been many people that you're kind of able to sort of be on. You're benefiting from the hard work that they've done. So give back if you can. That's one thing that I think most people, as they go through their life, especially maybe when you're in the 3/4 mark or the last quarter, where it's sort of like, okay, with the time that's left, I want to make sure that I give something back, legacy, etc., so that you can be one of those people that people are able to rise up because of. So look at your legacy too. How can you give back to the world? It can be much more altruistic. But if you're trying to accomplish something, the door's open. And there's more than one doorway that might be available to you. So when we look at wealth, I'll kind of drill into that a little bit more. But just know that there's more than one option, and it feels like you're energetically ready, but maybe intellectually not, or emotionally not. But the energy's opening up around you, okay? Also, this makes sense too. One other thing. It is a strange moment in the world right now. So you may be feeling the weight of the world, all these people, all the stuff that's going on, all the people for any number of reasons that are suffering right now, and there's a lot. It can weigh heavily upon you. What you can do is your own small part. Think about how you can make a local impact and maybe crack, some of the stuckness in the world right now, and just like, I can chisel away. I can't change it all. But if we all take our chisel and do that, it'll fall. The system will fall and you can reset it. So we have to collectively work together. You can't fix the world yourself, but we can together. So get involved, get a group. This is a group effort. So if you're feeling like you want to make a change, it's like a grassroots effort. Get more people involved. And each one of you can take your little chisel and make a difference, okay? So if you're feeling overwhelmed, get involved. And you won't feel so helpless because other people are going through a similar thing and they can work on it with you. This is true of anything, whether you're trying to overcome an addiction or whether you're trying to change the world. Change yourself, change the world. Together, that's what we got with this card. Together, you can do it. Alone, it feels tiring and you're like, I'm worn out. So connect to a larger group. And as much as the hermit is helpful, eventually you have to get out into the world. So when the hermiting is done, connect, and that will help you. And then you have a hidden 10 of Wands here, and you already have a 10 of Cups. So I definitely see something coming to fruition, okay? All right, let me take another drink here, and then we're going to talk about the 2 of Cups. Okay, 2 of Cups. This is in hopes, fears, and opportunities. It's a great energy to be in hopes and fears. Some of you are ready. You're ready for things to level up in work, in love, in life. And there may be a person that steps in that is the conduit for you. It could be a teacher, it could be an agent, it could be some sort of representative that just is like, hey, I see you and I see this, like, let's bring this together. So there might be that kind of pairing that's happening. And this could be an advocate. The 2 of Cups does not always have to be a lover, but it could if you're looking for love. So I see a lot of connections opening up. The challenge for you is this. This is comfortable. This is predictable. This makes you feel a little bit more exposed and seen, but it also is going to help you enter into the energy of the world. So put yourself out there a little bit more than you normally would in all aspects. Work, dating, social, whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish, because I see something good for many of you if you allow yourself to kind of go there. Someone may be seeking you out, needing your help, because we had a lot of boss energy as we looked at the cards. We had the Emperor, the Empress, the Queen of Wands. Even the Page of Wands was super powerful with the energy. So there's a lot of leadership energy coming through for all of you. And you also might be kind of in the throes or in the mix of a lot of leaders. So you might be able to make some things happen. Just allow for that partnership to come through. It's in fears. So some of you might just be afraid of what other people think, or will I be loved? You just have to work on trusting in yourself enough. The older I get, the less weight I give to what people think about me. That isn't to say that I don't care. It's just that I try to do what's right, and you can take it or leave it. And it's not a sort of attitude thing. It's just like I have to, for self-preservation, I can't focus on it. I spent the first part of my life worrying about whatever everyone thought. As I go into the next phase, it's like, now I just need to do the right thing. I need to make a difference. I need to make an impact. And you can like it or not. And that's okay. And it's so freeing to have that understanding, because you can then just start to take a deep breath and not stress. Put the energy into something that matters. And that's what the Page of Swords is about here. So now we have communicating and setting it into action. It's kind of interesting because it almost reminds me of Medusa, because we see the snakes in the background. Anyway, with Page of Swords, and we have the little snail at the bottom too. Page of Swords. This is your moment to speak it into existence. Many times, not always, but many times, you have to ask or you have to initiate it. Whether it's a date, like, hey, would you like to hang out? Would you like to go on a date? Or it's something that you want in your career. If you're working at a place saying, I want this, say, I'm interested in a promotion. What do we need to do to make this happen? You're taking the initiative. In your own life, it might just be a decision and then the action that follows through on it. I want to learn a new language. I want to move here. I want to do this. So I'm going to do it. So take action. The page can just be a conversation with yourself and then the action that comes through. It's action and communication because it's swords. It's both. But definitely pay attention to the way that you speak about yourself and the way that you speak about possibilities. This is affirmative because it's upright. And he has a little pomegranate there, so he's reaching for the highest possibilities. So if you catch yourself saying things like, I have bad luck in X, Y, or Z, or I wish I could do this, but it never works out. Stop. Instead say, I'm ready to make a change. This is what I'm focusing on. I like to sometimes imagine, this is a great way to think about how to get into the positivity of things. Imagine that you're watching yourself have a conversation with someone, like a first date, and you listen to the way that you speak. Imagine how it would feel to date someone that's going through all the things that aren't working. Like, this isn't working, this isn't working. Or the person that is saying, this has been challenging, but I've done this. I just overcame this. I'm really looking forward to this. Focusing on now and next, how you are creating the foundation. That will be much more fun. I'll be like, wow, it's fascinating that you got through that. How did you get through it? I'm struggling with that too. You might find someone that is inspired by your courage and your tenacity. And that's a good word that I'd forgotten. This is tenacious. This is perseverant. 9 of Wands doesn't give up. It's not about being perfect in the moment. It's about not giving up in the long run. And easier said than done, right? But I think it's really, really important to just kind of like be positive and be clear on what it is that you want to do, and don't speak about the past as if it's going to continue to be the present or the future. Okay? All right. So overall, I quite like what I see. We're going to get into the expanded forecast here. The expanded forecast comprises health, wealth, love, and destiny. And we're always going to begin with health first. Health is your mind, body, and your spirit. If I can find the marker card for that. While I'm getting that, I don't know why it's disappeared here, but yes, mind, body, and spirit. So in this moment, as we're focusing on health, this is the 7 of Swords. This is the denial energy where it's like, no one's going to notice. I can get away with this. Sorry, not wealth, health. No, you can't. I acknowledge my fear, but I replace it with the insight of awareness. So whatever it is that you've been holding back on, knowing that you need to improve it, now is the time to say, you know what, this doesn't serve my highest good. This can be an addiction. This can be a codependent relationship. This can be a toxic environment, whether it's a living situation or a work situation. Typically, though, you see it, you know it. This snake Latin guy is coming through and saying, oh, it doesn't matter. It matters. And so we're going to figure out how to deal with it. You don't have to do it alone. That is the wonderful thing about this week ahead as we're looking at this. There's power in numbers. You don't have to take the first opinion. When I was going through my own health challenge, it's appropriate since we're looking at health, I had to work with, I think I went to 4 different ENTs. One of them just wanted to cut me up. One of them told me just to take some nasal steroids. One of them knew enough that they were like, oh, this is exactly what's wrong and this is what we need to do. And then I had to go to another one for some imaging, but like it took a few tries to solidify it. And I knew going into some of them, I'm like, this person doesn't care. They just want money, or they want to get on to the next person. Or I've talked about this before, and it's true. Ageism exists at all ends of the spectrum. So sometimes when you're on the younger end, they dismiss something because they don't think it's appropriate to your age. When you're older, they don't listen to you as much. And then there's gender-based biases as well, where they don't always listen to genders equally. And so we need to find an advocate. You need to find someone that is your 2 of Cups in health. Like, I see you, and this is important. I found someone who said, you're too young to be going through this. This is aggressive, but it's appropriate. Let's do it. And I was like, yes, let's do it. And it worked. So find your advocate. I had to really fight to find someone that could help me with it because it wasn't easy. But anyway, get a second opinion. Make sure that you have someone that cares about you. Not just the bottom line, not just the insurance, not just whatever. They're not pushing an agenda on you, and they're not gaslighting you. They're listening to you and partnering with you. That's a good healthcare professional, okay? And in relationships and in life, you want someone who sees you eye to eye. But ageism exists at every end of the spectrum. Children, people in the early stages of life, middle life, later, and definitely when you're older, they just don't always listen to what's going on. So work beyond the age and gender biases. I don't know why it's still out there, but it is. But you're your own best advocate, and that's what this is about. So as we look at this in a broad sort of stroke, we need to really focus on the physical well-being and the emotional well-being, mental health. But mental and physical health, that is your bedrock. That is the cement. That's the foundation. Patience. Took me 4 weeks to recover. It could take you 4 months to recover. It could take you 4 years. Take your time. Know that you can do it. Don't lose track of the long-term thing, the goal, and just keep working, okay? Other things that we see here, support systems are important. Whether it is legitimately your friends and family, or it is something else that you find and sign up for, because we don't all have the people in our life that we need. So it could be you seek it out. I need a counselor, or I need a support group. That's what these two cards can represent. So if you don't have it, seek it. What I like about this whole spread when it comes to your health is it's going to work out. 3 of Wands in the World card. The block is this. And these are 2 energies just in different fonts. 7 of Swords in the Denial card. Denial is one of the tools of the 7 of Swords and the Devil. 7 of Swords, 5 of Swords, Devil, Moon. They're all hanging out at the party together using different techniques. But this is accountability, truth, and integrity, and denial works in contrast to that, or in opposition to that. Find somebody who will tell you the truth. It's hard to find. I have a couple people that will tell me the truth. If I don't look good, they're like, what's wrong? You don't look well. Or if something doesn't seem right, they're like, I think you're making a really big mistake. I love that I have a few people in my life that will just tell me the truth. And I may not want to hear it in the moment, but I'll come back and say, thank you so much. You were right. I did some research and I agree. So find someone who loves you enough to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. And find in a healthcare professional the same sort of thing. We need someone who's willing to say the truth, not what you want. Especially if there's something elective that you're going into. So get at least 2 opinions, if not 3. You can usually stop at 3. I needed 4 for mine, but like you'll know after that, it's like, I'm getting many consistent things. This is what I'm going to focus on. Okay. You may just need some time to recharge. You may need some time to do your own research, because the Hermit researches as well. And you may need to go out of your current geographical location to find the right advocate for you. Ultimately, things are pretty good across the board here once you do that. Some other things that I saw, fatigue. We talked about fatigue. It could be a lack of, maybe you're just bored with something, but it could also just be that you're carrying on too much strain. This can be headache, migraine, or just general mental fatigue. So make sure that if that's happening, you reduce some of what's on your plate, the bandwidth, you're freeing things up. If there's something toxic or not great about where you're at, it's time to move on. It might be time to change up the environment. And otherwise, I think we covered everything. But this is the trickiest thing. You have to be truthful with yourself. Because until you're ready to accept something, help isn't going to really settle. And if there's someone around you who's in denial, you can only help them so much. They have to get to the point where they're ready to ask or receive help. Okay, let's move on to wealth. In the energy of wealth, we have cuddle and cradle. So you might be developing something. So this is your resources, life purpose, and career. This is very Empress coded and Queen of Pentacles coded, because that's what they do. They nurture, they cuddle, they cradle. There may be something that you're working on that you're not ready to show just yet, because this is the creative process. It needs to gestate. It needs to sit for a second before it's fully fleshed out or ready to share. Make sure that the people that you share things with have integrity, of course, especially if there's an idea or intellectual property, but also make sure that they're people that care enough to tell you the truth. But I know that not everybody has the same level of imagination. So if you have like a demonstration, a prototype, a rough draft, not everyone can see the finished product. So I know that I used to work for certain bosses where it was like, you can't show them a work in progress. They will focus on all that's missing. And you're like, I know, but it will look like this. So there were certain people where we couldn't show them a work in progress. There were other people that liked that. So remember your audience and adjust it accordingly. Okay. Now let's talk about this, and we'll break this down into a few different categories. For those of you that are currently employed, these 2 cards are the most important thing. Is someone telling you the truth, the full truth, and nothing but the truth? If they're not, it may not be the right place for you. There could be a job environment where they're just not accountable or they're not truthful. And if it's consistent, it's time to move on. if it happens time and again, like they make a promise and they fall short of it, or they say one thing but something else happens, that's systemic, that is habitual, that is enough. So be honest with yourself, hold them to the same accountability, and if they're not, so be it. All right, let's look at some other things for those that are employed. One thing that's going very well across the board for everyone, but especially you, is your ability to partner with others. So keep up with that. Also, the key to leveling up is who you know. It's not just what you know, but definitely strategic relationships at work. I love that there's just a lot going on. So this is a new idea taking shape and form. It can happen faster than you think. Vet out who you share it with. Not everyone needs to know. Not everyone can keep a secret. If you have an NDA, honor it, because there is someone with loose lips. We don't want them to sink the ships of the Three of Wands. So be mindful of promises and non-disclosure agreements and trust. You know who you can trust, you know who you can't. Ultimately, though, we have the Page of Swords, so there could be some signature on the dotted line, a contract taking shape or form. You could be one step away from advancement. Just be mindful of this. Everything needs to be on in signature in writing. Get it in writing. If someone says they're going to do something for you, okay? Avoid gossip. Avoid signing something you don't understand. And if you're not supposed to talk about it, don't, okay? Otherwise, very good spread. This is not the outcome, it's just the near future. The outcome is good. This is mutable. This is avoidable. Moving onward to entrepreneurs. If you own your own company, if you freelance, if you have a side hustle, this is you. You know what's missing from this? Pentacles. So sometimes the lack of something can show that you don't need to worry about it, but I think it is important to take a look at time, energy, and money. It's not so much in the spread, so make sure that you have a handle on that, because that can be the sort of like denial energy of the Seven of Swords here. What I like right now is it looks like you're very close to getting a new client or reaching a new audience and making a splash here, so that's good. Don't take a shortcut. If you need to give credit where credit's due, do it. This can sometimes be an intellectual property or licensing issue. So don't release something until you've vetted it. Make sure that whoever needs to get paid gets paid, and make sure that there's a strong legal foundation. No shortcuts. Just keep working hard, because I do see it paying off. Rest and recalibration is important, and you're on to something great right now. I feel like overall, the company looks good, you look good. Customer and employee appreciation is really important. There may be one loose cannon where they're just not doing what they need to be doing. It doesn't have to be nefarious. It could just be someone slacking. That needs to be addressed sooner than later, okay? Other than that, the rest of the machine looks pretty good when I'm looking at all of this. So keep looking towards the future. Innovation is your key to success. It's not just about rinsing and repeating. You want to think about what's my competition doing? What differentiates me? How can I get into a better place in 2 to 3 years from now? What's that going to look like? So you're thinking way out into the distance, and that's going to bring you success. Job seekers. When you put together your resume, LinkedIn, whatever it is that you're applying to, 100% honesty is key, because it'll show up anyway. So be honest in your application process. Assuming that you are, this has more to do than with potential employers. They may not be putting everything into the job description, so make sure that you get a clear vision, especially talking to people that might already have work there. Like, what is it like? What is it truly like? The job opportunity that you're waiting for could involve some significant travel. It may require relocation, or you may just decide to look in a different geographical location than you're presently at, because there's more to be had there. So I actually think that all makes sense. Traveling or moving will probably speed up or improve the crop of opportunities that are there for you. I think you're able to land at least a real communication this week. The Two of Cups could be someone that's really talking to you in email or on a Zoom or on a phone call. That will help you get what you're looking for. But again, you may need to go further than you wanted to geographically. That's the one caveat right now. If you're really tied to one place, it could take longer. If you're open to moving, it could speed up. And I see at least one option coming through. The key thing this week is to drill in to see if everything is being discussed. So come to the interview with specific questions about morale and what's the word? Not the climate, but the culture. So morale and culture, really drill into expectations, like what is needed and expected in this job. Make sure that they didn't miss something. And then when you get the final contract, assuming that you can land this job, which we're going to be positive, read the fine print. Have someone else read it. Make sure you know what you're committing to. Particularly if there's something like a non-competitive clause or an intellectual property clause where anything you do can be used like in perpetuity, et cetera, et cetera. Just make sure that that feels right for you and that you know what you're agreeing to. Moving on to students. Students, overall pretty good, I have to say. Whatever you're doing, keep up the hard work. A little bit of exhaustion, but you're very close to finishing something. Don't take a shortcut. And when it comes to paper, like if there's a research paper or anything like that, make sure that all of the bibliography and that it's attributed to the right person. Things are kind of crazy now with, I have some teacher friends where they use tools that will kind of identify if it was AI generated, but sometimes if you're just really good, it can be a false flag. So have all of your sources and be able to show that, because I actually think that some of you may have like a false flag. So just show that you've done all your research and show some other samples of your work if you have to. Fight it. Fight it if it's wrong, because sometimes things get flagged and you didn't do anything wrong because the rest of the cards are good. So just be mindful of that. It's so weird because it's almost at a point where it's good to make a mistake or two, because then it shows up as more human. But if you're really good at writing or whatever, people now doubt you, which is silly. So just, I think if they can look at some other examples of your work, that'll be key. But that is the one thing that I'm seeing. Make sure that everything is done to sort of like the perfect format, like MLA or whatever it is that you're working on, okay? And you can prove it. We all have a voice. AI could come through and try, like, because I've worked with ChatGPT and large language models before, but they don't do a good job. They start to you can break them down at a certain point, but we all have a style and a cadence to our speaking, certain vocabulary words, certain punctuation. And if you show some samples, you're like, that's my voice, that's how I talk, then you'll be fine. AI can't really duplicate that. I've listened to AI music too, and it's boring and it's weird, and the certain things just break down. So just have a face-to-face conversation with someone, and usually they can override that. It happens. Other things for students. You might be looking at the next chapter very, very strategically. Maybe studying abroad for a semester, possibly transferring, or just what is life going to look like when I get out of school? And I wish that I had been doing that consistently more each semester. I almost waited until like the final semester of grad school before I was like really thinking strategically on what the job market might be like, because it didn't match what I was studying on some levels. So I was like, I wasn't really set up for success there. The more I did a couple of internships that helped, but the more internships, the more jobs, the more connections, professional connections you have, the better. That being said, nothing would have really prepared me for this because it didn't exist when I graduated. But I did get the core skills. And by the way, with foundational skills, communication is really, really good for everybody. So taking a few courses in the language of your choice to make sure that you can effectively communicate. Psychology, understanding how other people work. Also, business class, to know how to manage your money and how business works. Take some electives in those areas so that you understand emotional components to like the psychology, that you can communicate well, public speaking great, and then a few business classes. No matter what your focus is, that'll round you out and help you have what it takes. All right, moving on to retirees. This is interesting. So I mentioned the spark. When it comes to the people that you spend your time with, it's so important to feel elevated after that, because this is not. This is, I've spent time and I'm tired. So make sure that whatever your activities, whoever your partners are, whatever is going on, that you're showing a little bit of, like you're making sure that they're showing the same level of enthusiasm. Because if the connection's lacking, you can be more discerning. If there are people in your life that can't show up the way you need it, it's time to move on. Your time is more valuable when you're retired, ostensibly assuming that you're like 50 and above or 60 and above, because retirement can happen at any point. At this point, you just want to spend your time more wisely. So please do. You might also be initiating something new in your life. So this is fun. Cuddle and cradle. Take care of yourself, but you might also be deciding, I want to do something just for myself, just because. And I'm all for that. And this can be writing or learning something new. New language, writing a book, taking a class, just because you want to do it. Travel comes into the picture as well, but it feels like you might want to travel with someone. So pick your travel buddies accordingly. Okay. Let's look at love and relationships. Eruption of light. The card is reversed. This is kind of going to what I was talking about with the retirees. Do you feel a sense of lightness, levity, and also like energy and connection? Or is it a depleting sort of thing where you go into it and you think, it can be in any aspect of your life, but I remember working with a boss once and there was another superior that came in and it was a really hard conversation. They left the room and I was like, I just feel like I got hit by a truck. And this person said, yeah, imagine that, like that was their boss. They said, imagine how I go through it day-to-day life. I'm like, not good. I'm sure you've had people in just your friend circle, neighbors or whatever, where there's like this cloud over them sometimes. And you're like, oh God, I don't want to have this conversation. And you get sucked in and then it's like, I feel like my battery went from 100 to like 30%. So try to be clear on boundaries when it comes to that and don't give them more energy than they need to. You're caring too much maybe about someone who doesn't care back in return. Or you're putting too much energy into something that isn't receptive. So be mindful of that. Let's look at this from the lens of partnerships. So what I love is 10 of Cups, 2 of Cups. This is your foundation. This is the possibility. And it all comes to fruition with communication, Page of Swords. Patience is key. Not always easy, but it's key. Let them come to the decision themselves. You can be a voice of truth and reason, Joan of Arc, but she's not going to force unnecessarily this person to see it from your perspective. They can take it or they can leave it. They may figure out over time that your advice tends to be good and they'll start to take it, but let them get there themselves. There may need to be a heart-to-heart conversation about something that, for whatever reason, hasn't been discussed. It's reversed, so it feels like you're ready to talk about it. It feels like if it comes from a place of love, that it will be all right, but better to get it out in the open sooner than later. Whether it's something that bothers you or it's something that you've kept from them, it's time to come to, have a heart-to-heart. The truth will set you free. I just see a lot going on in the relationship. Like, you're busy, one or both of you. You're focusing on a lot of different things. And this could just be falling short of the promise of the relationship, like I'm there for you when you need me. So just keep your promises in love, and that's going to be key. I saw it in my vision earlier. Some of you may simply have this temptation to complain to someone, but I don't know if they're trustworthy. So what I saw was you talking to somebody and then the person coming in. And it was palpable anger. So I got this vision and it was like at 5 a.m. I got back to sleep after that. But for a moment or two, I was like, oh my God, I'm like, this isn't me. I didn't do it. This is for the collective today. But it's a good message in general. Just talk to them. And if you think you're in the clear and you can have a private conversation, don't do it. Not this week. I just feel like it's not the week to gossip. Really get clear on why you want to talk about this person, and then just talk to them instead. It will help. So if your partner's driving you crazy, or someone in your family's driving you crazy, talk to the person that's the source. From a place of love, not like just say, I really need to get something off my chest, and I love you, and I think this is important so that we can continue to have a great relationship. Like, you'll find the words, but sometimes you just have to rip the Band-Aid off and say, this is what we need to talk about, and then go there. It will help you in the long run. All right, once you get past that, this is a period in time, if you're not already in a long-term relationship or married, it's like leveling up. So the World card is expansion, but it's reversed, and there's one person here who's kind of in their own world. So it is about trying to find the right time and place to have the conversation about where are we going next together. You might be making some plans. It might be just like figurative, like what's the next goal in our relationship. I see the walls coming down, and I see conversation here. Don't hold it in. Speak from the heart. Find the right time and place, and give it time. So someone doesn't have to come to a decision in one conversation. Just say, I'd like you to think about this. This is important to me. This could be especially if you're deciding to expand the family, because that can be the world expansion. Like, do we want to have another child? I know I want to. What do you want? And are we ready? Let's think about it. You don't have to make the decision today. That gives them time. Or, I want to do this for my career, but it's a big move. Can you support me on that? Or, let's get married if you're not married. Whatever it is, it's sort of saying, I'm ready, are you? And if you're not, let me know sooner than later. That kind of energy will probably help out. Okay, let's move on to, well, one last thing for partnerships. What I like is, it seems like there's an open heart. We just need to open the communication, okay? Single and looking. It's a good time to be single and looking. There could be someone, well, let's look at it from a couple of different angles. There could be someone from the past where the timing was wrong, but it feels better now. So that's great. It's all about timing. There may be someone coming into your life that you're not even looking for. The timing could be wrong or it could be unexpected, and you just need to be open to that too. The one thing that's key here is show up as the true you when you're meeting with this person. And you probably have a pretty good nose for if they're doing the same. I think there could be someone coming in. This looks like this is more attached to the new person than the old. So when I look at the old person, for those of you that might be reconnecting, just make sure that the spark is mutual. That's the warning on that. There could be someone coming in right here, right now, already present, might be a Leo, where they're just wanting to take it slower. So this is from the past. This is someone that might be already in your life, and they're dragging their feet a little bit. So we see maybe not a mutual attraction, maybe a slower pace here. And then I see someone in the future that's coming through, and the question with them is, what are they hiding? Is there something that they're not fully? So take your time. Date. Make sure that you see what this Seven of Swords could be. It could be like they're divorced and they have kids and they don't want to put all of that in the first date. It could be that, there's something in their life where they're dealing with some stress and they don't want to bring it in. So give it a couple of dates, feel it out a little bit, and give them a chance. Make sure that they know it's a safe space to talk about stuff. But I feel like that will naturally reveal itself in 2 or 3 dates, and then you'll get the big picture. Don't go head first into anything. It's more for new relationships than old. And for the old ones, if there's no spark, there's no spark. If they want to take their time, they want to take their time. That's kind of what I'm picking up on with that. All right. So now moving on to single and happy. Good for you. I think right now is a great time to launch something new, to move, to travel. Also, it feels like you might be legitimately putting things into written form. This could be a contract, a curriculum, a book, some sort of a rough draft or demonstration, an idea. Again, with this, make sure that you get proper protection and that you don't share it with someone that isn't ready to, or isn't the right person to look at it. Other things that I see coming through for you, just a lot of activity and manifestation. I feel like this month will be open in the blink of an eye or the snap of a finger. So make sure that this week you're putting as much energy into creation, birthing, traction as possible. All right. Finally, looking at destiny. So we have a mudra coming through here, and it says, is it Namaskara mudra? And it says, I hold my heart in love. This also just reminds me of prayer and gratitude. It's the right sort of energy to connect with in this moment in time. And being grateful, even just for being here today. I've talked about it before. I'm grateful for the breath in my lungs. I'm grateful for the ability to communicate. I'm grateful for the ability to heal. They can be small yet profound things. Without oxygen, we're not going to make it. So take a deep breath. I'm glad I can do that. I'm glad I can let things go. Gratitude can start on a very simple but profound level. And then you can continue to go outward. So when you're feeling like bummed out about something, this isn't a good day, go to the simple stuff. But I'm alive, there's food on the table, I can breathe, I have friends. Okay, I'm okay. I'll get through this. This is small, smaller than it seems. We need to shrink the intensity of something that doesn't need to be intense. Or contextualize it. It's heavy now, but I know that I'm going to grow from this, and I won't repeat it. I'm grateful that I know that I don't want this, and I can't wait to get in a different direction. Okay? So let's meditate. And if you've enjoyed today, by the way, feel free to give back if you'd like to. I'm going to set a small goal for us to do, and maybe we'll do 15 super chats. If we do this, I'll do pick a card at the end. I feel like this one is achievable. So pick, instead of just one, if we get 15 super chats, I'll do a pick a card at the end, just to kind of incentivize that a bit. But first things first, let's meditate. So during the meditation, we're going to set the stage for for the Four of Wands energy that I saw, for the world, for all of the cool stuff that's coming forth. So this is your moment to... We're also going to do a little bit of healing too, like we did before. So I'll do a little bit of silent healing too to help us through this. So I'd like you to close your eyes for a moment. And imagine that your feet are planted on solid ground. This is true even if you're in a position right now where something's changing. Maybe you lost your job. Maybe you just got out of a breakup. Maybe your health is not where you want it to be. We're looking at things that would be unstable. So instability, maybe even in your finances. Whatever you feel you don't have solid ground, I'd like you in this moment to imagine that you could take your hands and create this firm foundation, a rock that you can plant your feet on. And just feel like in this moment, I will figure this out. It may not be clear today, but I've got this. I'll figure this out. I'll make it work. Closing your eyes with this openness to figuring it out, to making it work. I want you first to really connect. Let's get the root chakra connected. Put the feet on that cement, and we're cementing this clarity. I will make this work. Feel that stability comes up through the feet, all the way through the legs, and we're going to work through the 7 chakras. Root, your sacral, your solar plexus, your throat, your third eye, your crown. All of them have this stability like a tree trunk going through you. You are stable, you are connected. Now let's open up the third eye and the crown a little bit more. Place one hand on your heart. Place another one over your third eye. And I want you to imagine that there is a beam of light coming through your hands. If you want to, you can cup them up and collect some light from the stars, from the sun, from your higher self, and then place them again over those 2 points that we talked about, your heart and your third eye. Now imagine that you could beam the light into your heart, and wherever there is pain from a past relationship, you can see it going in there and it's starting to heal it. It's magical. And it's going in and you see this little light going over the crack heals, and you just have your beautiful red heart there. Keep doing that for each point of sadness, each regret, each thing that might be going on where you wish that it could just feel better. Allow yourself to start to do the healing there. Now, as your heart starts to heal, we're opening up the third eye so you can see it and feel it clearly. So imagine that you're going into your third eye. You don't even need to know where it's at. Just know that you're going into that pineal gland, to the third eye, right above your 2 physical eyes, just a little bit halfway on your forehead. And know that you are opening up your perception. I'm going to be able to see on an energetic and a spiritual level what's best for me. I'm going to be able to see past what's in front of me, because that's just here. That's just now. That's not potential. I'm going to see the potential. I'm going to see through any facades. I'm going to see, know it, and feel it and trust it. And you're connecting those 2 chakra points together, the seat of knowledge of the heart and the undeniable connection to source that is the third eye. Let's just hold space for a few moments. And now imagine that the sun is shining overhead, that it's coming through your beautiful crown chakra, activating each of the 7 major energy centers, but also let's not forget about the palms, natural receptors. So hold them up, or you can kind of cup them together and say, I'm ready to receive. See yourself as the King of Cups, holding that center chalice. I'm ready to receive love, abundance, wisdom, opportunity, and I'm able to accomplish dreams beyond my wildest imagination. All of this or better. I'm ready for all of this or better. Hold that towards your heart and just allow for some expansion here. Take a few deep breaths. If there was anything in your life that was broken, use the analogy of a bone. It can heal and it can be stronger than it was before. So you are stronger for the experiences, you have greater context with which to judge future situations, and you are ready now for something to be easier and more fulfilling for you. Place your hands on your heart, take a couple of deep breaths, come back into your body if you're not already, and welcome. All right. So I'm going to pull the final card. We're only 5 away, so let me know if you want me to do a pick a card. You can continue to contribute. But for now, let's look at the final question for today. Quite good, actually. So we have the Wheel of Fortune, but it is in the reverse position. So let's talk about this. For a yes or a no, what the Wheel of Fortune represents reversed is the bigger picture, the bigger sort of trade-off. So if there's an opportunity in your life and it's well-paying or well-respected, is it worth the sacrifice of time and energy? If there's something that maybe isn't the same money, but you have more time, you have more energy to do the things that you want to in your life, maybe that's better. It's the trade-offs. So make sure that you're looking at it from all the costs: time, energy, money, commitment, passion? Does it all total out? And only you can make that decision. If there's something that you're negotiating for, make sure that you're not selling yourself short of what's possible. Feel free in this moment to, advocate for just a little bit more, because you're worth it. Also, just focusing on the sense of confidence, self-sufficiency, self-worth, all of that, and recalibrating and knowing that you're worth it. There's a season and a reason for everything, and this card is something that can set you in a new trajectory for the year ahead. So know that you are very close to that. By the way, we just hit the goal. Thank you. So we're going to do a pick a card next. Overall, I like what I see here with the Wheel of Fortune. And I think the important thing here is to stay open, to stay receptive, and see what possibilities come through. All right. Thank you, everybody. We're going to reset it and do something different. So thanks for the support. You give to me, I give right back to you. So there we go. We're going to do a bonus pick a card because I didn't do it with the last celestial reading. So the way that this works is I'm going to pull 3 cards. I'll put them face down, and you can do this in one of 2 ways. You can ask a question and just go with the one that you're called to, or you can write down 3 questions and 1, 2, 3. It can be 1, 2, 3. Okay? It works both ways. So whichever is best for you. All right, so either get your 3 questions or get your 1 question. If it's 1 question, as I pull them and lay them out, decide which one you're connected to. Here we go. Okay, we're going to leave that on its side. That's interesting. So 1, 2, or 3. We're going to start off with 1. So if you picked card 1, you have the Knight of Wands, which is an affirmative, yes. I love all the fiery energy in this too. What I'm getting right now for you is this sense of really follow through on your passion, your inspiration, and this horse is lacking a rider. So this week you want to make tangible plans that you can follow through on, to breathe life into it, bring it into existence, because it needs just a little bit more zhuzhing, just a little bit more work here. But there's so much potential. This is an emphatic yes, and all we need to see is movement. We can also look at this kind of like a stallion or a bronco that doesn't want to have someone directing it. So you may be looking at more independent opportunities over the course of this week, and that's good. Entrepreneurial or independent work can pay off for sure. Just make sure that you stay organized, and there needs to be some structure. So when the horse doesn't have anybody directing it, it needs to have its sense of direction in order to really make a difference. So this is a yes. This is very auspicious. I like what I see here. And if you have an idea that you're working on, it looks good, okay? All right, number 2, 8 of Pentacles, but reversed. So it's all in the details. When I was talking about don't take shortcuts, this applies to this card. Because in the upright position, she's taking her time, she's putting in a lot of effort, and it will pay off. This is connected with learning new things. So if there's something that you want to do for knowledge expansion, whether it's like getting a certification, going back to school, self-teaching yourself something, yes, all of that's good. When it comes to something that you're writing, a reversed 8 of Pentacles can show a need to revise slightly. It's not a big revision. The Tower is a big revision. 8 of Pentacles in reverse, just a couple things moved around. And don't overdo it. Don't overthink it. In contracts, you could make a circle and redline something and get something that you want. The devil's in the details, but this isn't a bad card. It's just saying make sure that you're getting what you need and you can get the change that you want. You have to scrutinize the fine print. This is also one of the 2 writers cards. The 3 of Pentacles, the 8 of Pentacles have to do with writing, producing, creating, and this week it's just time to get to work. So there's a little bit of a nudge from the universe to get to work. As a yes or a no, it is nuanced. It's saying yes, but no shortcuts. Look at the contract and stick with your plan this week. As long as you do that, it's great. But the universe did attach a few caveats for that. And overall, I like this. You'll get what you put into it. That's the ultimate with the 8 of Pentacles. It is a good card for return on energy. This one's interesting. So if you chose the sideways card, let's see what it is. Very fascinating. Two of Pentacles. You're leaning in one direction. Trust the direction in which you're leaning. Because with Two of Pentacles, you can't and probably shouldn't overextend yourself. From a budgetary point of view, less is more. If you don't need it right now and you can get more mileage out of something, save. Be a little bit more frugal when necessary, and then put the energy, put the time, put the resources into the one of the Two Pentacles. So the fact that this is on its side shows already imbalance, and this is a balancing card, and it's showing a need to go towards the one that you're leaning towards, where there's a little bit more benefit. And if you can't make that decision, take a step back and really get some perspective. Typically with this is why we opened up the heart and the third eye. Something will feel better if you have choices in front of you. What on a heart level just feels like, I want it. This is what I need. This is right. What from a third eye perspective can you see more potential in? Okay, this will take a little bit more of investment, but I see that it's going to pan out. Use those two things to help you pick one of the two choices. You can't be everywhere at once. You can't be everything to everyone. Try though you may. It's important to make smart choices. The cool thing with this, with it being on its side, it feels like you already know which one to choose. So just trust your instincts on this. Okay? This is also a traveling card. Usually you would see a ship behind the person. Clearly, if you're in the United States, plan for delays. But even if you're not in the US, there could be some unexpected changes in your travel itinerary, and also have a little bit extra. Like, this is just good for everyone right now, but especially if you chose number 3. You probably need to put in a little bit more contingency. So if you're planning something out, add in an extra like 20% on top of that, at least, to be conservative, so that you're not taken by surprise if something breaks, or if, again, there's a delay or something like that. So planning is your friend. All right? So one more time, these are the 3. We have the Knight of Wands for number 1, 8 of Pentacles reversed for number 3, and on its side, the 2 of Pentacles for number 3. And it really is just about not overextending, going for the one thing that feels or looks the best for you. Okay? All right. This is Curious Travels. Don't worry about the decks. They'll all be listed after this is live. You'll see that I put a bunch, I'll tag them all. And I usually try to do them in the order that I did them. So you'll get all the decks when this is on replay. And I have most of them except this, and I'll add this to my website, but most of the other ones are all on my website. It was Universal Celtic Tarot, or Celtic rather, and then this was Curious Travels, and then I forget the name of this one. It's The Infinite Door. So I'll have all of those afterwards, and don't worry about them. Okay. So thank you. That was fun. Occasionally I like to shake it up, and this was a give and receive sort of thing. So thank you for helping me make that goal. Let's take a couple moments here to just wrap up. So first and foremost, if you like this, and if you've been lurking for a long time and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. It helps the channel grow. It helps me know that this is cool. Hit the thumbs up once in this video, and then leave a comment when it's on replay. Thank you to everybody that gave back, including those that helped me meet the goal. It means a lot. You can also give back with a super sticker or super chat. And in fact, because you guys were great, I'm going to gift a membership because we're in a new month. So let me do that. Give me 1 second and I'll show a little bit of love and support. And thank you, by the way, to everybody that did that already. I'll be showing some gratitude here in just a moment. So let me just wait for this to come into focus. Takes a second for some reason. Let's see, I might need to pull this in a new window. So while I'm doing that, also, if you want to give me a follow on social media so you never miss out on a future video, I appreciate that in advance. Here we go. Let's see. I think I can figure this out. Here we go. Membership gifting. So I'm gifting 5 memberships just because everyone was so great today. So thank you. A little bit extra love and support. All right. Now, congrats to everybody for making it through today. And yes, we're entering into Mercury retrograde this week. I did a special video on retrograde. Feel free to check that out. It's listed on the main channel. Now I'd like to just say a little bit of thanks to everybody that gave back. I know not everybody can do this, but for those that did, I'm just showing some appreciation. All right, so celebrating anniversaries or those who are gifted memberships, we'll start off with that first. All right, fan funding, here we go. Thank you to the following. Welcome to these new channel members, or welcome back, I should say, to Ashwini, I think it is. Let's see. Lisa or Liza. And created by Deanne. Thank you for your sticker. More members here. Joanne, Alba, Stachi, and Walk. Thank you for 2 years. You made it. 2 years of membership. Thank you so much. Good to have you here each and every weekend. I appreciate you. Wendy Owens, thank you for your sticker. Let's see, Radiant Disruption, 16 months of membership. Thank you very much. Just close to almost a year and a half. And I'm glad that you enjoy the time spent here. So thank you. Heather, thanks for sending a membership to somebody new. Thanks for being a member too. Deborah, you're the best too. I appreciate you. After 5 years. Oh my gosh. So you've watched for 5, but this is your first. You picked a great one. So thank you to, I think it's Candex. I don't know how to say that, but thank you for being here for 5 years. I appreciate that. And for the sticker too. Colette, thank you for gifting 5 memberships. Welcome to all the people that got gifted memberships as well. Suzanne, thank you for your sticker. Same thing with, let's see, is it Jackie? I think it's Jackie DeVilliers. Thank you. Also Brandy, much appreciation there. Latanya, and then thank you to NetChick41 for gifting a membership. B. Deidre, oh my gosh, thank you for that very, very sort of abundant sticker. I appreciate it. I appreciate your generosity. That's the word I was looking for. Let's see. All's well. Thank you for gifting a membership, for being a member as well. NetChick also, again, thank you for gifting another membership. I am Laura, 10. Oh my gosh. Welcome to all 10 new people. I hope you enjoy this. We'll be doing some more member perks in the coming weeks. Let's see. Ellie, NetChick again. Thank you. K and X for 220. Thank you again for you. All these people for helping me make the goal. I can tell that they all came in rapid succession. So let's see. Also to Bun, I can't read all of it. I'm just going to say not. Thank you. Daz, Jen Foley or Jean Foley, Alyssa, I think it is. QZ422. All of these usernames are strange sometimes. I'm just reading out numbers and letters. NetChick, again, thank you for the multiple contributions today. I really appreciate it. Daz Sai, again, thank you for gifting a membership. I know you gave back today, and you are a member too as well. Thank you. Amitabha, good to see you. Exactly a year and a half. Congratulations on that. And thank you also for giving back with a sticker. Marie Ann, Kathy, let's see, we have Lilio, I think it is, or Lilo. Marianne, thank you. NetChick, again, you rock today. Thank you. Back at you. Danny, thank you very much. Also, Paula B, Daniel Miller. Let's see, Hand Angle, I think it is, 7335. Cheryl, Holly, apologies for any mispronunciations. Welcome to everyone that I also gifted one to, and Kristen. Okay, I got everybody. So thank you so much. This afternoon, I'm going to be working on Libra, and then I'll be getting the remainder of them out this week. Again, I'm back in normal health, but it took a minute or two, and I'm off all the medications. So thank you guys for being patient. Love and appreciate all of you. Thank you also to Dakota for his help with moderation today, and Apollo's sleeping in the corner, but you got to see him earlier. So from my heart to yours, wishing you all the best. Take care and be well, everybody. See you soon.